Your grandfather bought a house at 25 on a factory salary. You can't afford one at 35 with a college degree. In 1950, America had 6% of world population, but 50% of global production. The math that built the middle class has completely reversed. And this isn't the first time. The 1960s were when the arithmetic stopped working. But the cracks didn't appear where anyone expected. By 1960, America had built unprecedented prosperity. But success created a problem the system's architects never anticipated: visibility. When prosperity becomes real for some, everyone else can see exactly what they're missing. Black families earned half what white families made. Women with college degrees earned less than men with high school diplomas. The suburbs were white by design. Redlining kept prosperity segregated by policy. The 1950s boom hadn't just created wealth. It had created a visible standard of living that exposed every exclusion. Here's what nobody talks about: the system couldn't include everyone even if it wanted to. The 1950s, prosperity worked because America controlled half the world's production with 6% of its people. Suburban abundance depended on cheap global labor and resources flowing to American consumers. Your fridge stayed full because oil was cheap, clothes were cheap, and cars were cheap. All powered by labor that wasn't paid American wages. Including everyone in middle-class consumption meant one of two options: pay global workers middle-class wages, which would eliminate the cheap goods that made American prosperity possible, or find entirely new sources of wealth to distribute. The arithmetic didn't work. The foundation of prosperity was American dominance over global markets. Extending that prosperity to everyone would require either exploiting more people or abandoning the model entirely. Meanwhile, the dominance itself was eroding. Europe and Japan were recovering. Their factories were rebuilt with newer equipment than American plants. Their workers cost less. The automatic markets Marshall Plan created were becoming competitors. By the mid-1960s, America's factories looked old. Japan and Germany had brand new plants, cheaper workers, and were selling back into the same markets America once owned. By 1965, America's share of global manufacturing was falling. The dollar system that made everything work was straining. Vietnam War spending was creating inflation. The math that made one salary support a family was breaking down. When the economy stopped delivering, politics tried to take its place. America offered political inclusion instead of economic expansion. Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, women entering the workforce, cultural representation, and legal equality. But these victories came just as economic opportunity was shrinking. Integration happened as good union jobs started disappearing. Women entered corporate America as corporate America stopped sharing profits with workers. The movements won access to a system that was already transforming into something less generous for everyone: equal rights to participate in an increasingly unequal economy. 1970, the consensus was broken. The dollar couldn't maintain its value. Inflation was rising, wages were stagnating. The automatic prosperity of the 1950s was ending. The math had stopped working not because people demanded too much, but because the foundation, American dominance of global production, was inevitably temporary. Success had sown the seeds of its own limits. The 1970s shattered the dream with gas lines, inflation, and wages that no longer kept up. The math had stopped working. Episode 4 reveals how America rebuilt the system and who paid the price. Subscribe to see what came next.